do a live stream a little bit different today because we wanted to just do it a little bit more raw rather than being in the studio and having all the fancy things at the top and at the side. And there's a couple of things I wanted to cover in today's session. But really, this is more like a downstream of my consciousness, which sounds very exciting, doesn't it? So this is just a test. We're just using the mobile phone on a tripod. We're going live using Restream, and we go directly through the phone, and it then streams out onto Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and everything like that. We can't actually stream on Twitter anymore because we have to buy a blue tick, and I don't really want to give Elon Musk any more money. Saying that, we have got Elon Musk shares in Tesla, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but there you go. Anyway, a couple of things I wanted to cover off in today's session. First one was really about Donald Trump. I mean, why not start with Donald Trump? We did this thing in Spanish last week, and it was where you had to describe a person, and the whole class had to guess who it was, but you had to do it all in Spanish because it's Spanish class, right? And the first person got up, and I said, Donald Trump. And they'd not even spoken yet. I'm like, how did you know that? Because it was obvious. Everything's about Donald Trump at the moment, isn't it? Anyway, his negotiation tactic is quite interesting. And in certain circumstances, I think that negotiation tactic will probably work. And then in other circumstances, I think that negotiation tactic is actually just going to piss off a lot of people. I mean, I'm supposed to be in America in 2 weeks. And I'm like, do I really want to go to America now? And no is the answer. But I'm going to go because I've paid for the airline flight and the tickets. But Trump's got this idea of, and I get it, I kind of understand it, like, can you do this for me? No. Right, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to beat you up. And it's like, okay, so that works to an extent. But only if you're never going to see that person again. Only if they're not going to go get their bigger mates who are going to come around and beat you up around the back of the bike shed. And you might go, well, America's not got any bigger, people who can go up against it, which is probably accurate. But then you want to rule your relationships with other people based on threats and intimidation. I can't see that that's really going to have a great long-term effect. Did it get the result with Colombia? Because they threatened a 25% tariff, and if you don't acquiesce within a week, they're going to up it to 50%. And then Colombia said, "Oh no, okay, if that's fine, we'll accept these planes to land." But they were forced into it. That's not a negotiation. And people go, "Trump's a tough negotiator." No. That's not a negotiation. Negotiation is where both teams win. Both parties come to the table, both walk away with not everything that they want, but an equal amount of what they both want. That's what a negotiation is. What Trump did wasn't a negotiation. That was, if you don't do this, I'm going to kick 10 tons of shit out of you. So as I said, that has a place. That has in negotiation, Trump coming in, beating everybody up. That definitely can get a solution very, very quickly. The only problem is Colombia. I don't know how long it's existed for, and I don't know how long it's going to exist for. And America's 250 years oldish, and I don't know how long America's going to last for. But let's just say it's 1,000 years. Is that really how you want your relationship to be for 100 years or 500 years or 1,000 years, built on threats and intimidation? I don't really think it is. And unfortunately, what happens is you get people who will just go, well, fuck you then. And I'm one of those people, by the way. I had an interesting conversation with HMRC on the VAT helpline yesterday, where I actually told the woman to go fuck herself because she was just a nightmare. Anyway, we put in a formal complaint, got them to pull the call, so we'll see what happens with that. But like, if you threaten me in some way, I will go, fine, do what you need to do. Let's play this out. Let's roll the dice. And what's going to happen is you're going to find other people that do that who are in power as well. And I just don't think it's good long term for these relationships that you're going to have with these countries for a long, long time. And like it's threatened Canada, it's threatened Colombia, of course, it's threatened the EU. He's also talking about Spain being BRICS, which, like, I think the S is South Africa. It's definitely, I live in Spain. We're not in BRICS. Like, anyway. But that seems to be the way forward. And what happens, of course, is you're getting 50% of the population going, yeah, go Trump. And then you get the other 50% going, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about this. I can't believe we're doing this. And then what happens overseas is that we see it from a particular angle, not from the press that you have in the US, but we see it from various different angles, from the press that we see on like normal press, which is kind of pro-Trump anyway, I would suggest. But also we see it on things like Twitter, which is obviously pro-Trump because it's all Elon Musk, even though you don't follow him, he pops up everywhere. But also we get our news sources from elsewhere. We get it from Facebook and LinkedIn and all these other different places where the algorithm doesn't reach us. So if you're pro-Trump, that really doesn't reach us on YouTube based on the other stuff that you're watching. So what it's actually doing is causing a lot of people who are not in the US to be more cautious when dealing with the US. So if we were going into a negotiation now with a US company, bear in mind we run a digital marketing agency and we've just closed a deal with a US company. Now we are like, first of all, do we trust this a new company that we're bringing on? Because if this is the negotiation tactics that Americans are going, yeah, go Trump, which again, it has a place and it can work, but not long term. But if that is how you're coming in, we're much more cautious now. And we're just some small, piddly little business, most of our customers are in the UK. But it's not looking good, I don't feel. But it's a negotiation tactic. And, everybody has positive stuff about them. Some of Trump's stuff is amazing. Some of the stuff that he does, and I like his bolshy, doesn't give a damn attitude. I actually like that. That appeals to me as a male, I guess. I don't know, white male, I guess. It does appeal to me, but then also I recognise that not everybody is in that. Like, I go to CrossFit and I work out really hard and I'm always looking for the strongest guy and I want to go up against him. I want to work out. And when we played basketball, I would find their best player and I'll go and defend him because I am that kind of person. I'm bullshit like that. Whereas other people absolutely aren't, and they just want to show up and wash the kit, for the basketball team. They don't want to get involved with stuff like that. There's a lot of those people around as well. And you need a certain level of empathy, I feel, in order to negotiate well over the long term. Yeah, being tough and being known as a tough negotiator, great. But also you need a certain level of empathy. And I think one of the fears for me, is that young people see this and think that that is the way to go and negotiate a deal or a new phone, and just being bullshit and throwing your weight around and telling people to go fuck themselves. And I mean, I'm all for that, which is great initially, but then people get to know you and then think, actually, okay, and they're kind of a bit more standoffish, really. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Trump. It's interesting. And this is kind of like, for me, step back, get the popcorn and just start eating the popcorn and seeing, watching from afar. The whole world is a mess, let's face it. And maybe, I don't know, and I don't know about you, I don't know if you've ever had this thought process where maybe if I just have 100% confidence in who I think I am and my ability and just go do that, maybe everything will just magically fall into place because maybe I am the Messiah. I'm not. But maybe if I just release all this content, maybe all these people saying that, oh my gosh, Dan, you're so amazing, we want to work with it, right? Maybe, it doesn't, by the way, but maybe what the world needs is a Trump. Maybe what the world needs is tough negotiation like that. I don't think it is, but what do I know? Let's roll the dice and let's see. And what's really cool for us here in Europe is that we can see this from overseas. Of course, it does impact us in various ways eventually, but we can see it from overseas because this is a wonderful experiment. You got, like, let's take this, right? You've got Trump on one side, throwing his weight around, demanding this, that, and the other, and just totally going into politics and changing the whole thing, cancelling. Is it DFI, whatever that is? Cancelling all that, getting rid of all the Doge, all the stuff, all the wasteful stuff in government. Like, maybe that's exactly what's needed. I don't think it is, but it's an interesting experiment. Let's roll it, let's play it out, and let's just see how that goes, because actually that's quite interesting. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Let's roll the dice. So you've got this experiment of, in the US, you've got Donald Trump, and then in the UK, we've got Keir Starmer. And I actually think Keir Starmer's doing all right in the UK. Obviously, if you go on Twitter, he's a nightmare and a baby killer. And if you go on the press, he's a murderer. and so on, which is always interesting. But it's a very right-wing press, and you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But anyway, what I'm saying is that it's interesting to see what the difference is going to be in 6 months or a year now with one type of leadership with Trump and another type of leadership with Keir Starmer. And then obviously we've got all the other world leaders and what's going on. And another one which is really interesting is Argentina with the guy there, what's going on there. And he's doing amazingly well. And I think he's quite a socialist, if memory serves. I don't know what he is. My view on world politics is a bit of a mess unless it's US and UK. Anyway, I just find it really interesting. Let's roll the dice. Let's play the game. Obviously, we're playing with people's lives, but let's just see what happens. And maybe this is the way forward, and maybe this is the new era of politics and how it's all going to be done. Or maybe it's World War III. Who knows? Let's roll the dice. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Nvidia. Because Nvidia, let me just have a look on eToro. So I actually bought some Nvidia yesterday. And this is about, do we buy the dip? And I bought the dip. And I'm down 1.41% as of yesterday. But what happened yesterday was that a new AI bit of software came out. It cost not a lot of money to create, came out of China, which obviously should be ringing alarm bells everywhere. If you're installing that software on your computer, what else is it looking at, right? Why was TikTok banned? It's all the same stuff. Anyway, this all came out. And of course, because NVIDIA works with AI and with all the graphics chips used for all those calculations, super fast calculations. But this software, now I'm a bit confused about this, but this software kind of bypasses all that. It came out really cheap. It's much better than the ChatGPT, for example, and so on. But I think NVIDIA, they released something yesterday saying, don't forget, all this runs on our graphics chips. So what happened yesterday was that NVIDIA dropped by about 20%, I think, if memory serves, about 18 to 20%. So people are talking about buying the dip. It's currently $118. And I think it was like $140 around there. So it's taken quite a sizable dip. And so this is a question, folks. Do you buy the dip? And lots of people are talking about buying the dip. Same with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin, it's a crash, do you buy the dip? And so we did. We actually bought some NVIDIA, and we will get to see what that's actually going to look like. But the whole AI thing, like, I spend actually quite a lot of my time sitting back and thinking about what is the world going to look like in 10 years? And I have no clue. Like, I'm trying to anticipate for our business what we need in place to grow our business, and then also as an extension of that, what our clients need in place so that they can take advantage of all the things that we sit back and learn about. Because I'm at the level in my business where I'm not the guy tapping the buttons, but I'm the guy thinking about the thought process in the business, and I'm also the guy that does the sales. So you get a strategy session, we work out if it's a good match, and then we work out what they need, and then we tell them what they need effectively, and then the team goes and implements that. So I spend a lot of time at the mind level and at the sales level, or the verbal level, communication level it is. So a lot of that is spent thinking about how is that going to change the world? Like, what is that going to look like? Is universal basic income going to come in? What would that look like? And if universal basic income does come in and you don't need a job anymore and you've got robots serving you burgers at McDonald's, right? Is it raining? It's raining. If you've got robots serving burgers at McDonald's, we're in Spain and it's sunny and suddenly it's raining. Then what are people going to do? If you're not getting a job at McDonald's or insert any other fast food or warehouses, or driving trucks, because robots are doing it all in 10 or 20 years. And this stuff's coming. And I know it's been like, from the old films, it's been coming for 100 years, and it absolutely has. But we're reaching this critical mass, aren't we? Where at this point on this critical mass, it's just going to poof, and the world is going to be very, very different. And so my business and my industry as a digital marketer, that's also going to change, right? And now we all defend this and we all say, oh, no. In my business, you still need a person to think about what's what. And I've seen guys on Twitter talk about how they've saved millions of dollars on legal fees, because now they're just going to ask ChatGPT. So they ask the lawyer, they ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT comes up with the same answers pretty much. Now, I struggle to trust it, but I'm a dinosaur, right? So I'm 52, I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I've got one foot stuck in old school before mobile phones even came out, right? I got my first mobile phone when I was like 19, a Sony Mars bar. It was 50 pence a minute, right? So I've got my foot in the old days, and then I've also got a foot in the new world where, because we're a digital marketing agency, so I'm kind of struggling how robots are going to come and take over the world, whether I trust them or not. But once I die out, in 10 or 20 years, I'm 72, right? I ain't doing this stuff. So the world will be very, very different. What is that going to look like? And what are people going to do? And so I think there's going to be a couple of places that you can make money. Okay. And property is one of them. And I'm a hypocrite. And I'll tell you why I'm a hypocrite, because I'm actually moving out of property, real estate in the UK, and we're selling up because I'm just done with tenants. I'm done with all of it. Too many tenant rights, can't get them out, massive tax changes and so on. But what are people going to want to do? They have to live somewhere. They have to eat. They have to have a hobby. So things like fitness, I think, will be very good. But then, you're going to have, do you remember in, what's the film with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Blue Skies on Mars. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. That film, and she's doing the tennis, and there's a hologram and doing the tennis with her. And she just has to follow us. Like, that's where we're heading towards. So even fitness. But if you think about that, she was at home on her own, doing nothing, and like not speaking to anybody. She was just there on her own. That's not what fitness is. It should be a community event. So you've got fitness, community fitness. You've got property. What else are people going to do? We're going to want to eat, like bodily functions, right? So public toilets, public restaurants, community workouts. They need to sleep somewhere. So housing, RVs or motorhomes, massive. There's a massive move towards car camping. I've been car camping in a little Peugeot 206. Amazing, wonderful. Woke up in a car park on the East Coast near Filey, 6 a.m., going to the pier, sun's coming up, surfers are in the sea. Amazing, right? There's a big move towards that. But fortunately for me, I was there having fun. Unfortunately for some others, they were there because they got nowhere to live. But they're loving that lifestyle as well. So there's a big shift towards that. People not going to work in warehouses. They're not going to work in fast food restaurants or Starbucks. That's finished. You'll have the coffee machine in your house, right? So where are we going to go with this? If you drive a car, I was having a chat with a taxi driver, and I'm trying to tell him, this is a couple of years ago, you are going to be unemployed. Unfortunately, because a robot is going to come and take your job. Oh, no, that's not going to happen. In June, we went to San Francisco, and we tried to get in a Waymo. We couldn't do it because we didn't have a US credit card. But a Waymo, if you don't know what that is, are driverless cars. There are cars driving around San Francisco with nobody in them. What? How does that work? Amazing. That's just the start of it. Wait until we have planes and trains and all these other things that are going to be coming through. I just think it's really interesting. So what is your business going to look like when all that stuff happens? And this is why you should be using AI. The Nvidia share price, all this is interconnected, by the way. You should be using AI. AI runs on Nvidia graphic processors. All this is interconnected. You should be using ChatGPT in your business, but not a copy and paste. You get it for ideation, coming up with ideas, and then you implement those ideas yourself. That's what you should be using AI for right now. But how is your business going to be different? If you're running a legal business and you've noticed that your clients are petering off, why do you think that is? Hint, ChatGPT. That's why people are going over to AI. And how do you think this is going to impact your business? If you're a baker, probably not going to impact it so much, except you'll have some robot people getting up at 6 a.m. to bake the bread. Like, what? The whole pricing model is changing. Look, we've had a really interesting conversation about pricing models in our business, because we've got training courses, 27, 37, 57 pounds. We've got another one that's being filmed at 97 pounds. And we're like, actually, do we want to sell training courses for 97 quid and 27 quid? Or actually, do we just want a Netflix model, a Disney model, I'm trying to think of another one, Amazon model? What have we got? Sky Showcase, $9.99 a month. Is that the model that we want? It's Netflix for courses, $9.99 a month. You get access to any training course. I'm pretty sure someone's already doing that. And you might go, well, somebody else is already doing that, so that opportunity is gone. I don't think that. If you're delivering the course and people like you, they're going to buy the course from you because they want to listen to you, not somebody else, which is interesting, I think. So is that an opportunity for you? I just think this is really interesting, and you should be asking ChatGPT for some of these answers. Let's talk about CrossFit. Let's talk about mental health, because I think this is really important. So today's Tuesday. Today was the first day for me at CrossFit. And normally I start on a Monday, and Mondays are just dreadful. My rest day is on a Sunday. I get into Monday. Usually it's an 8 a.m. session, and I have Spanish at 9:30. And my Spanish is utterly dreadful. By the way, I just have to say it is dreadful. I have to learn the same word like 20 times. It's so bad. Anyway, yesterday my little one was ill. So wifey, who's a school teacher, they go to the same school. She goes to school, and the little one's at home with me, which means I can't really leave the house. She wasn't well. Fair enough. But what happens is it knocks my routine off massively. And when it knocks off my routine, it knocks everything off. And then I made the mistake of speaking with HMRC. What a bunch of utter wankers those people are. They would not last 2 seconds in the real world. But because they're protected by HMRC, they can act like utter... I don't actually have the word. I was going to say twat. But that's too low for what I think of those people. Anyway, so I made the mistake of speaking to them. So the whole day was kind of ruined, threw off my mental game completely. I did a little bit of work on the digital marketing agency and so on, mostly just scheduling some content and just keeping up with various stuff, doing some paperwork and all that kind of thing. You know, all the stuff that you have to do in a business that keeps it running, right? That nobody else gets to see. So that's what I was doing yesterday. Anyway, got to CrossFit this morning. And so this morning is my first day of CrossFit. And mentally, I just was not there. Like, I just really struggled with getting into the routine and getting into the rhythm, lifting weights, and it was all very handstand push-up heavy. You know what a handstand is? Okay, now do some push-ups while in a handstand position. That's handstand push-ups. Obviously, it sounds obvious, but some people don't know. So what happens is that going into this morning, I'm tired. I was pissed off because of yesterday still. I had some weird dreams because I was so angry with HMRC yesterday, thinking that we can treat people like shit effectively. You know, we work all these hours and we pay a lot of tax. And part of me is like, screw this. Why am I paying so much tax? And we're actually going to investigate whether we want to pay the UK any more tax and actually have an overseas company now. I live in Spain anyway. I don't know why I'm paying tax for the UK. Anyway, mental shifts. So get to CrossFit. I'm tired. Hey, Dan, how are you? Hey. And I'm, you know, a bit grumpy. Not really had my coffee. Woke up late. Just foul. Got into a CrossFit session. And then during the CrossFit session is this most amazing transformation. This is why we talked about the community fitness, by the way. This is why you should be doing some form of CrossFit or some form of community-based exercise, because the mental shift that you get is phenomenal. And I know people, people poo-poo on CrossFit because it's a cult, 100%, massive cult. But what a wonderful cult. I am super fit. I can run. I can lift my body weight. I can do pull-ups. We're practicing muscle-ups. I can do handstand push-ups. I can clean 50 kilos. I can bench press my own body weight and then some. If my mate broke his leg and I had to carry him down a mountain and he's 80 kilos, I can do that. I can lift him on my back because I've carried 110 kilos on my back. Like that. That mental shift is phenomenal. And, you know, if you're ever in a situation where you need to perform physically because there is an emergency, I feel like, get out of my way, let me in, right? I feel like I have that confidence because I've practiced physical stuff. And that confidence then goes into other areas of your life. Goes into, you walk in a room and you feel like you own the room. It just builds confidence, and people comment as well. Have you lost weight? Like I got that a couple of days ago at CrossFit last week. Have you lost weight? Amazing. Imagine that. And so you get these mental shifts. But and this will upset some people, because some people, they don't like CrossFit, and they don't like it because of all the repetitions with heavy weights, and I understand that. But the reason why it works for me so well, the reason why I get these mental shifts, is because of the community-based exercising that it creates. So in our session today, there's, I think, 6 of us, and actually I was on the heavier weight today, and the people my age not lifting the same weight. So I'm on heavier weights, and you can see people looking at you like, gosh, look at Dan. Go on, Dan, and having the people around you support you in that way, and you supporting other people. One of the girls was trying handstand push-ups, and so she got into a handstand position, and she's doing the tiniest little handstands. It's so cool, and it's that for her was massive, right? And then to be able to go up and go, that's amazing, and high five, and that community-based exercise, this is why we do CrossFit, and these are the mental shifts that we get, the things that you couldn't do 3 years ago. I was doing double unders, something I couldn't do 3 years ago, coming up 3 years in April, so just under 3 years, 2.5 years. And I was doing double unders, and I'm still practicing double unders, haven't quite got them, but I did maybe 20 or 30 in a row. It's probably the most I've ever done, actually, this morning. And somebody else was like, oh, that's amazing. That's really good. And I don't really know who they are, just some other people. And I said, thanks very much. It's just taken 3 years of practice in my very bad Spanish. And then I give you a high five. Like, do you get that at JD Gym, whatever that's called? Or what's the other one called? Fitness for You? I don't know what it's called. Exercise for Less. Like, you don't get any of that. You don't even look at anybody in a gym anymore in case they're filming, and you get accused of looking at the butt, which is weird because they're filming the butt to go on Instagram. But if you look over, look at the butt, oh no, you're in trouble. Now you're on Joey Swole's short videos, if you've seen those. But this is the point. Does 2 things, right? One is it gets you fit. It does 3 things, actually. One is it gets you fit. 2 is it gives you the mental transitions into, oh my God, I can't be bothered this morning. I feel exhausted. And then during that session, you're performing, right? And you're performing well. Massive mind shift. And then the third thing it does is it sorts your diet, because there's no point in doing lots of pull-ups to then go home and eat donuts, which is adding more kilograms or pounds onto your frame, which you then have to lift in another week or 2. So it actually pulls your diet into order, because now you want to start eating better. So massive. If you're not doing CrossFit, you should join. If you want to come with me to a CrossFit session in the UK, more than happy. Next time I'm in Leeds, there's CrossFits everywhere. And I love going to different CrossFit gyms. I went to one in LA. I went to one in San Francisco. So unbelievably friendly. You can walk in anywhere, and it's high fives. People want to know you. It's amazing. So like this whole loneliness thing is just weird. And I struggled with some loneliness when we moved out here. I didn't know anybody. I didn't get to speak to anybody. My wife and kid had come home, and blah, 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 because I didn't get to speak to anyone. And then I discovered CrossFit 3 years ago. And now I go for coffee and cheesecake with various people. And I get to practice my Spanish, which is still dreadful. And they have patience with me. And so if you're lonely, or you're going through, as we get older, us men, we have much less friends than I'd say women. Women are very good at making friends, but it's the same for some women too. That, they get less friends as you get older, because you have work and you have kids and all this stuff, right? So the whole loneliness thing, just go and join a CrossFit gym. Are you going to feel like awkward to begin with? Of course you are. And who cares? I'm in a competition in 2 weeks in Pamplona. We have to mention that, of course. I am absolutely shitting myself. Absolutely. But this is the thing. It's like being stretched. And I think that as humans, we've got to stretch ourselves. And the first time I walked into a CrossFit gym, all the guys have got the tops off, 6-pack abs, glistening. I felt like an extra on, the Top Gun where they're on the beach playing volleyball. I felt like I was watching that. And then there's me, fat Dan, walking down. Hey up, lads, I had no Spanish back then. Thankfully, they had some Spanish. And, the first session, I'm using a plastic pipe, just the movements were hard. That first time when you walk in, it's really, really hard. And the second time it isn't much easier. But here we are 3 years in, you can go up to people you don't know, high five, hey, how's it going? Everybody's so friendly. Like, I didn't realize that at first. And that's true wherever you go. And there's people of all shapes and sizes, and you see a guy and he's lifting really heavy, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's, when we get to the workout, oh my God, he's going to kill me. And the workout is handstand push-ups and he can't do one, or rope climbs or pull-ups and he can't get off the ground. And you're there doing all of those. Like, we're all built differently, and it's really cool. And my focus has really moved towards not how my body looks, although, there's still an aspect of that because I've still built on ego. But my focus now is built on what my body can do, not what my body looks like. I'm 52. Losing fat, it gets much, much harder as you get older. And I do CrossFit 6 days a week, and if I don't watch my diet, the fat goes on. Like, it's crazy, right? I have no idea why that is. It's just a fact of life. So I have to watch what I eat still, even though I work out 6 days a week. Sometimes I do 2 a days as well for the competition, adding extra strength into it and so on. And like tomorrow night, we've got an endurance, which is an absolute killer. But these are the mental shifts, you see. You compare 2.5 to 3 years ago to where we are today, I could walk in any CrossFit gym in the world and feel like I belong. Know that I'm not going to be the odd one out who can't do a pull-up or double unders or handstand push-ups. The only things I can't do are handstand walks and muscle-ups. Nobody can do handstand walks and muscle-ups. I am not on my own when it comes to doing those. So, go join a CrossFit gym. Last thing I want to talk about was this poor girl who, I think she's a singer. She's US-based. I don't know how old she is. Let me see if I can see. She's like 24, 25, maybe she's 30, I don't know. She took Ozempic, and she took Ozempic because she needed to lose like 10 pounds, which is mind blowing for me. Like, why would you take Ozempic for losing just 10 pounds when, I mean, losing 10 pounds is not easy. I don't want people to think it is easy, because it's really not easy. Maybe when you're younger, it's easier. At 52. The most I've lost, I went from 83 kilos down to 70 kilos. So that's what is I don't know what that is. It's 13 kilos. 13 kilos to pounds. Let's see how much that is. Let me just do that. So why is it not working? There we go. 28 pounds I lost. Gosh, that is a lot, isn't it? Anyway, I put 5 kilos back on, which is about 12 pounds. Put that back on. But this poor girl, she had to lose 10 pounds. So she took Ozempic. She's stick thin, by the way, but she's a singer, right? So obviously we live in and this is going back to CrossFit, by the way, we live in a very visual world, made even more visual with what are we doing now? We're live on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Stitch. I don't know what we're live on, but we're live on all these Twitch, not Stitch. We're live on all these different things, right? So the way that you look is really important, it seems. So this poor girl, she took Ozempic, and now she's got osteopororsis. Like, how on earth does that even happen? And then it's not even that. And I don't know if this girl was anti-vax, by the way, but you do get these anti-vaxxers who are completely anti-vax, but will take Ozempic. And I'm like, how does that work? And forget about the COVID vaccine for a second. Forget about that, because I don't want to go down that can of worms. But let's take polio, which was eradicated due to a vaccination. Oh, no, we don't want vaccines. But I'm going to take some Ozempic because I need to lose 10 pounds. What? I'm sorry. How does that work? Do the work. There are lessons in there. I know it's hard. I know it's depressing. When all your mates are out eating pizza and donuts and you're on salad, right? It's depressing as anything. I get it. Really depressing. And for that evening, yeah, they're satisfied, but they're still fat bastards. Whereas you're on this diet or on your way to looking good, I know it's hard, but taking these shortcuts is no good, because what happens is you miss the lessons that you should have learned along the way. So it's like those people who instantly become wealthy, make £1 million off the lottery, let's say. They, 95% lose it back to where they are within 5 years because they didn't go through any lessons. Whereas if you've made money, lost money, then made £1 million, boy, you ain't losing that £1 million. Now you've finally got it because you learned the lessons along the way. And Ozempic doesn't allow people to learn the lessons along the way. And the lessons are, as soon as you come off Ozempic, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to go back to how you were, like the lottery winners went back to how they were within 5 years. You didn't learn the lessons about food, calories, portion control, fitness, working out, going to CrossFit, those feelings that you get from going to CrossFit, not the I can lift, like bench press 200 pounds or 80 kilos or whatever that is. Not those feelings. Those feelings about camaraderie, about being in a group of people. Like, those feelings are amazing. No, I'm just going to take Ozempic and stay at home play on the Xbox. I play on the Xbox too, but I still do this other stuff. And you're missing out on these lessons, and these lessons are incredibly valuable. And I think that this is what life is, by the way, folks, right? I know we all want the shortcuts. We all want the destination. We all want to get on holiday. One of the things I'm looking forward to in 2 weeks' time is I'm flying to Las Vegas. And I'm looking forward to have to fly from Barcelona to Heathrow and then Heathrow to Las Vegas, because I'm going to Funnel Hacking Live. I can't wait to get to Barcelona. I love going to Barcelona. I love getting on a flight, staying over in Heathrow, getting on the plane to America, all those movies, just the excitement, the adventure. I feel like I'm living the dream, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I dreamed of living as being a kid. And then I get to Las Vegas, even better, right? And most people are like, no, I can't wait to get to Las Vegas. I just want to get to Vegas. It's not even a holiday. There's none of this. What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'll tell you what goes on in Vegas. I'm going to Funnel Hacking Live for 12 hours a day. I'm going to come home. I'm going to eat some food. I'm going to fall asleep at 8 p.m. because of jet lag. I'm going to wake up at like 3 a.m., find Hooters because of key lime pie every 24 hours. Over Vegas is 24 hours. I can go anywhere, can't I? And then struggle with jet lag all week. That's what's going to happen in Vegas, folks. Nothing great. But the journey, and this is the point, when in the weight loss, in the building a business, in the relationships, all the things that we do. Like yesterday, my 10-year-old, we think about our relationships with our kids and how we want them to be, and we have this kind of dream vision of what we think that's going to be like, and we miss all the little bits in the middle. So she's got this thing right now where she's interviewing me for a job. She loves interviewing me for a job, and yesterday's was Starbucks. She works at Starbucks, and I'm going for a job interview at Starbucks. She's with my 10-year-old daughter. Just hilarious. And she's got her sunglasses on, and I'm just a dreadful employee on purpose. They're the little things. That right there is the journey, folks, of that relationship that you want with your kids is built around those things, the day-to-day stuff, the day-to-day of your business. Of, after this, I am literally posting out a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of content. We've got a live stream to record, which we're going to pre-record. We've got all this stuff that we have to go and do. And everybody thinks that it's the Vegas bit and getting on the plane, and that's the journey in your business, and networking events and bringing in the money. And no, that's not. All that is end destination stuff. The journey is a video like this, where you have to do it. And then getting all the little video shorts of all the little bits that we want to take out of the video, and then scheduling all of those, and then following up with customers and going to Active Campaign and seeing who's opened your latest emails and following up with all those. Boring as hell, right? And we talked about AI earlier. Can we just get AI to crack on and get this sorted so I don't have to do it, please? But this is the journey. People think it's glamorous. No. The events are glamorous. Winning awards, we're in for an award, which we're hoping we're going to win. Winning award is glamorous. All the other stuff that gets you to the award is not glamorous. And this is all the stuff that you have to do in your business that will just keep you going. Just finally on this, I just want to talk about what we're doing this week in our digital marketing agency. But let me just grab a quick drink. I'm going to be speaking for ages without a pause. So, digital marketing this week. What have we been up to? It's been a really interesting week. So we, client-wise, is interesting because we take on clients and then we lose clients, which has never really happened before. And it's not the same client, but we've had clients for years who we've lost because they're no longer closing business. And so then there's this a knock-on all the way down the supply chain. And so you've got, for example, landlords are leaving the sector. You've got ChatGPT. you've got very low disposable income. You've got people who are doing facelifts and Botox and healthy stuff. I take my vitamin D1 every day and so on. We've got people selling that stuff, and all their sales are slowed down, and the whole of the UK has slowed down. The whole supply chain has slowed down, right? And nobody's got any money. So that has problems all through the supply chain. We are in that supply chain. We don't have a magic wand where we go piff, paff, puff, which is the magic words from Sooty and Sweep, if you remember that. Is it? Easy Weezy, let's get busy. They were the magic words from Sooty and Sweep. But we don't have that magic wand, unfortunately. We are part of that supply chain, just like everybody else. And we're competing for the same business, just like everybody else. And even worse, what happens is when people are tight, they go, I know what we'll do. We'll start selling websites. We'll start doing content for people, which is what we do, right? We've got a large enough business with, 10 employees. And then little one-man band comes in, undercuts you by, 50%. And which is life-changing for them, by the way, but not life-changing for us. We have these problems all the way down the supply chain. So in our business, we feel this, that you've got to market as much as you can. You've got to get out there. You've got to get your message out. You've got to create content. You've got to be visible at all times. And you've got to demonstrate that you're a nice person. Like, for some people, that might be quite difficult. But you've got to demonstrate your brand and who you are and how you can help people. And that's really important, because if you're not doing that, and if you're not visible on social media, and your competitors are, when your potential client is scrolling through social media and they land on your competitor's thing, whatever that happens to be, an image or a video or podcast or a YouTube live stream, whatever, right? They're more likely to use them than they will use you. So it kind of makes sense then that you've got to get out in front of as many people as possible and be on social media as much as possible, which is one of the reasons why we do this, of course, because we've got to be visible like everybody else. You've got to get your images out. You've got to get your short videos out. You've got to get your live streams done. You've got to get onto iTunes and Amazon and Spotify and get your podcast show out. One of our latest clients does a podcast show. Literally, that is all they do, is podcasting. And they're getting downloads, and we looked at the method that they were using to create the podcast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we can really improve on this, like, significantly. And so that's what we do. We brought them on board. We created new channel images and logo and branding on everything: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything. And then we've got them. Before, they were just doing audio podcasts. Now we're getting them to video it. Then they're going to live stream it, the recorded video. They're going to live stream the recorded video. Then we pull out all the short videos, and then we put those out with links that take them everybody back to either back to their website or back to their call to action, which is, buy our stuff or sign up for whatever it is, or listen to a full podcast or whatever that happens to be. That's really interesting. I think that's really interesting. But that's what you've got to be doing in your business. One of our other clients, I won't name the industry nor the client, but they are one of the largest in their industry, which is really interesting. We're running Google Ads for them. But also, as well as Google Ads, yeah, you need Google Ads, but also you need to be running content, because what happens is you run Google Ads, people then research you, they go onto your Instagram, they find you've got no content, there's a lack of trust. So you've got to have content across all board, and they're like 75% of all their traffic, their website traffic, and they close people on their website. 75% of that is coming from Google. But they still have to do all the content and all the digital marketing content, organic content. Like, we do a lot of organic content, but we're also running Facebook ads. And we do very well. And sometimes we post on our previous, what we've done on them. I think one of the last ones was they spent £270 on Facebook ads, sold £1,600 worth of coaching. That's an amazing return on investment. Is that an eightfold? If my maths is dreadful, but I think that's an eightfold return on investment. That's amazing, right? But he still has to do content. Can't just run Facebook ads. Can't just run Google ads. It's like baking a cake where you need butter, flour, and eggs, and just trying to bake it using just eggs or just flour or or just butter. No. You need all three ingredients. You need paid, you need organic, you need audio, you need visual, you need images, you need written. All of this is your content cake, and these are all the ingredients that you need in that content cake. And does it take a lot of time? And have you got no time? Yes, absolutely. That's why our clients come to us. But sometimes it doesn't work because the whole supply chain has crumbled because no one's got any money. It depends on the business. Some businesses, they come to us and they go fly because the way that they were doing it before, old school, we're not in the old school anymore. And then some businesses who we've had for a while, the way that they deliver their product has changed dramatically now because of AI. Anyway, look, I hope you find that useful. And we went for quite a long time there. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Always hit like and subscribe. Of course, you want to subscribe. Why would you not? If you've got any questions, let me know. And we'll catch up with you on the next video. Hope you have a wicked day. And we'll speak to you soon. Take care.